Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this is the how to draw features video. So this is going to show you how to draw basic generic features, how to break down the features into their basic shapes. Now, you may end up using some of these skills and techniques, but you might not use all of them, depending on how your face is cropped and how your features are kind of smushed. But this will give you how to draw generic human features. So let's start with the eye because it is the easiest feature to draw. And we're going to start with a football shape. We're going to draw that football shape so it comes to a point. That point is going to touch each of those corners of your eye using that grid. Then you're going to draw your pupil, which is a circle. But that circle is getting overlapped by your overall. So if you drew the whole circle, you'd see it like that. But then you want to erase the part that goes outside your eye. Now, above and below are your eyelids. These are kind of moon-shaped, and you're going to see them. See how they come to a point at the edges? They get wider at the center. Okay, do the same thing on the bottom, where it's that moon shape. Okay, then you're going to draw your iris inside. It's a circle that is parallel or perpendicular, not perpendicular, parallel, concentric, that's the word I'm looking for, concentric to your outside circle. So it's in the center. So then you're going to draw the eyeball. So you're going to see the edges here, because this part of your eye here is kind of your tear duct, and it gets a little darker than the outside of your eye. Okay. Next part of your eye are your eyelashes. Now, you want to keep these light. You don't want to do what I affectionately call, and I'll draw over here, what I affectionately call spider eyes. Like, no matter how much mascara you're wearing, this is not what your eye looks like. So you want to keep your eyelashes light, small, and going away from the center of your face. Okay. Then eyebrow. Your eyebrow is part of the bone. It follows the bone above your eye, and that bone is curved. So you want to give it a space above, and then you want to curve. And you can kind of draw, depending on how big and bushy your eyebrow is, that shape. Okay? So, football shape, concentric circles for your pupil, crescent moons for your eyelids, rounded eyebrow. Alright, so we'll move on from the eye to the nose. Now the part of your nose you want to start with is that bottom part, because it's the hardest part to draw. Now the part of your nose you should start with is what we call the ball of your nose. It is that ball of cartilage at the center of your nose. Now, there are several different shapes of this. I'll kind of show you. Some of them are round. Some people are more ovals. Some people's are kind of more diamond shape, or even there are some people who have them more teardrop. But you're just looking at that center part of your nose. That center part sits on your nose line. So I'm going to draw one that's kind of circle-ish. Alright, so that starts on the center part. It should take up about half of the space of your nose. So if I draw this down, that's taking up about half of the space of that nose part. Now, the next part is your nostrils. Now, your nostrils are a circle, but you're looking at the circle from an angle. So when you're looking at a circle from an angle, see how it kind of looks like an oval. So that means your nostrils are kind of these flattened on either side of the center part of your nose. Okay. Once you have those nostrils, you can kind of draw the skin that surrounds them, and then how they go up into your nose. So we've got the skin that comes up, we've got our actual nostrils, and then it comes up into the nose itself. Now, your bridge of your nose, which is this upper part, it starts at your eyebrow. That same bone that is your eyebrow becomes the bone that is your nose. So it starts kind of right after your eyebrow. If you want to give yourself a little space, you can do that. So you want to give yourself a little space between your eyebrow and your nose, but it should look like there's one line that connects them. Then it gets skinny in between your eyes and slowly gets bigger. And then do the same thing on the other side. So it comes down, gets skinnier, and becomes that big triangle. Okay, so there we go. So, center part of your nose being the right shape, whichever shape it is. Your nostrils are ovals, not circles. I don't want to see what I affectionately call pig nose. No one has a nose that looks like this. Okay? That's another no-no. No pig nose. So nostrils are ovals. We've got the center part of your nose. Your overall nose is a triangle going up into your eyebrow bone. Alright? Now moving from the nose to the lips. There's one little part that you should start with. I don't know what the scientific name of it is. It's that little indent that leads from the kind of fleshy part of your nose to your lips. You want to start with those because your lips curve, your upper lip curves in between those two lines. Now your upper lip is always much skinnier than your lower lip, so you kind of want it to not be too far above that center line. Then you're going to go up and it's going to curve from that edge of that lips. See how it kind of disappears into that center line? It curves up and into that lip. So it's very skinny at the sides and thicker towards the middle. Alright, now your bottom lip has two muscles. Those two muscles kind of sit right here. They're important because your lip curves in between them. So it curves up and around that muscle. Okay, so that gives you kind of a generic mouth. Now, I'm going to talk about smiling. So if we have that center line, when we smile, one, our chin moves down. So that center line actually ends up moving down a little bit. But if we've got that line, what happens when we smile is our top lip stretches. So it gets even skinnier. So it's barely a line at the top. Those two muscles bend. The lips bend between them. So you draw around them, and they get skinny at the edges, they get thicker around those muscles, and then skinnier at the edges. Okay. The last step when drawing an open mouth is to draw those teeth. You want to kind of hint at them and not draw too much detail. The more detail you have, the more people end up looking at your mouth, and then it just doesn't look as interesting. Okay, so we've got our mouth. Curves between those top two little fleshy parts. Curves around the two muscles. Fades into the sides. So you don't want to have what I affectionately call joker mouth, where you just kind of connect the lines here. Like this is not a proper, sorry. That's not a proper mouth. No. Okay. Last but not least is your ear. And I'm going to erase pig nose over here so I have room for my ear. Your ear kind of curves up because we're looking at your ear from an angle for the most part. If you got that frontal view. Curves up. Curves down. Comes in. And then the only thing that you really need to include is that shade at the top and the shape in the middle. Okay, if you're doing the side view and you've got your ear, let's get that so you can see it. You can draw, it's kind of that half circle. You see the kind of rounded edge at the top. You see the shape in the middle. Where is that shadow? So if you've got that side view of your ear, that's really all you really need is where those shadows are. Because as we get adding charcoal to this, you're going to notice those things. So that's how you draw all of those basic features. You should now take your, once you've been approved to move on to features, you should take the grid from your smashed portrait and start adding your features. Look closely to make it look like you, and draw exactly what your smashed features look like. But this video is to give you an idea of how to start.